When my son was 15, he decided that he either wanted a career in music or he wanted a career in filmmaking. Now, we were well aware that these were really quite competitive industries to get into. And we were also quite realistic that my husband and I had absolutely no idea of how to get started to follow either of those pathways. So we knew that we needed help, and we needed someone who, first of all, was going to help my son choose the right A levels so that he would have access to the right either university degree courses or apprenticeships, which would then lead on to a career in either of those areas. We also needed help to make sure that he had a really strong application. We knew that the choice of extracurricular and supercurricular activities that he was going to do in the next few years before making his application would really be very important and help define who he was and what he wanted to do. We found Sandra at the perfect time, and she was able to take and guide us forward from that point. Sandra was amazing because the first thing that she did was to really sit down and take the time to talk to my son about what he was interested in and what he wanted to do. She wanted to know what his ambitions were, what his interests were, what he enjoyed doing. She also wanted to know what his strengths were and what pathways he'd looked at already. She was then able to go away and do all the research because she'd asked the right questions. She knew exactly what to ask him. She then came back and she had a meeting with us, explaining to my son exactly what his options were. She'd researched universities, she'd researched conservatoires, and also degree apprenticeship options. What was really helpful was that she was very clearly able to explain to my son the difference between a university and a conservatoire, which was quite important if he was going to choose the music pathway. She also was able to explain to him the entry requirements for each of the courses. And this was helpful so that when he was planning which A-levels to take, he knew what he needed to do, what he needed to achieve to follow his and achieve his goals. I was particularly impressed by how thorough she was, and also that she was able to suggest to him what he could do outside of college, and that what he could really do to make his application stand out. We were able to talk through volunteering opportunities and work experience opportunities, and she was able to suggest what there was to do in the local area. And this was helpful not only because it helped his application stand out, but it also helped him decide which pathway he wanted to choose so that he was really sure that he was making the right choice. She directed us towards courses that might help on his application and also help develop his skills. She'd really taken the time to understand what his strengths were and which areas he might need support in. So, for example, for filmmaking, she pointed us in the direction of the Bournemouth Arts University that ran Saturday schools and also summer holiday courses in filmmaking. And for music, she directed us towards London to Trinity Laban, who do music summer schools for young people. So all in all, she came back and gave us lots of choices. I think the biggest impact that Sandra has had is that she's really given my son some perspective. When he was thinking about what A-levels to choose, he knew exactly what he needed to do and to achieve in his GCSEs to be able to do those A-levels. Now, fast forward, he's 17 years old and he's looking at conservatoires and universities for music. He now has all the knowledge that Sandra gave him about what the options were for each course, for each university, and what he needs to do to get himself there. It also helped him really focus in on working hard for the grades that he needs. This was both at GCSEs and now at A-level. And that's actually, as a parent, been particularly helpful. He has been slowly building his portfolio. He's been attending summer schools. He's been volunteering and doing work experience. And this has helped him decide what he wants to do. And it's also given him the confidence now, so that when he goes into interviews or when he writes his personal statement, he will have things to talk about to show how passionate he is about his music. I think if I were to think about what the most valuable help would be, is that she's actually formed a really strong connection with my son, and she's really taken the time to listen to him and what he wants from life. And that's been really invaluable, because she's thought outside the box to really make him see what his choices are and what options are open to him. And as a parent, that has been massively reassuring.